A boy who would be disappeared from this world until he was old enough to return and lead an uprising against me. A boy, so says the prophecy, who could fly.
Every legend has a beginning. That's the slogan for the movie Pan. But here's the question, was it even worth telling? The movie Pan, starring Hugh Jackman, right now on reviewsfortherestofus.com. How is it? Where should you see it? Who should you see it with?
You can go feeling sorry for yourself all you want, kid. But knowing where you're from, that's half of knowing who you are. That's more than most of us here will ever know. At least you know where you come from. Born to a warrior, heir to a prince. Does that mean you're the one? I don't know. I don't know if there is a one. But I do know that if you aren't the guy, and you are just you, maybe that's enough.
So if you're familiar with the Peter Pan story, then you probably wondered at one point or another, how in the world did this boy become a flying elf man? I mean, I don't know. I kind of wondered as a kid. And that's what this movie sets out to tell. But does it do it well? That's tough. So let's talk about how is it. This movie is just weird. Now don't misunderstand me. If you're a huge fan of the Peter Pan story, if you're a huge fan of the entire legend, then you might actually enjoy this movie. If you're a huge fan of Hugh Jackman, you might turn a blind eye to some of the other stuff, but for the rest of us, it's just weird. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a weird story, it's fanciful, it almost has like moments of Avatar-likeness in it, and then in the next moment it feels like that movie, Wild Wild West with Will Smith back in the early 90s, it was just bizarre. It just kind of has that feel. And the guy that plays Hook, which, by the way, spoiler alert, Hook and Peter Pan apparently were friends at one point. The guy that plays Friends, it's just weird. I don't know. I don't know what they asked him to do. He acts like stilted the whole time. So where should you see it? Well, if you are going to see this movie because you're a fan, definitely see it in the theater, and if you can, definitely see it in 3D, because the one thing I can say that's great about this movie is there's all sorts of fun stuff for the eye going on. Every once in a while, it's a little bit cheesy. It's almost like they didn't try as hard as they do in some movies on special effects, but it's still very colorful. It's still very fun. Who should you see it with? Well, this one's kind of important, and here's why. This movie is targeted in a lot of ways to kids, you know, because it's Peter Pan. Man, I don't know if I'd take kids to this movie. This has some pretty adult stuff in it. There's some scenes of mermaids who are topless. They have hair covering their chests, but it doesn't really leave much to the imagination. So if you got young kids, you want to consider that. There's no foul language. They were careful about that. But there is just some kind of scary, freaky imagery in it throughout. Even some almost mystic, occult-like kind of stuff. It just kind of touches on it, doesn't quite get there, but now that's worth noting. Now, if you do want to go see it with a group of friends who love Pan, fine. If you maybe want to go check it out on a date night or with somebody else who just wants to hang, okay. I still say wait and watch it on Blu-ray. Get it from, Redbox, or even wait till it's on Netflix. Hugh Jackman's great, but at least for me, he still couldn't save this movie. Hope this review was helpful and helped you make your decision. If so, please share it with your friends. It's the best way to let other folks know about Reviews for the Rest of Us. Also, you can subscribe on YouTube. We'd love that. And like us here on Facebook. If you're not in the mood for a movie like Pan, maybe you want something a little bit more grown up, a little bit more, get your mind going, I strongly recommend The Martian with Matt Damon. It is a fantastic movie, and you can click right here to watch our review of it. Until then, we'll see you next week on reviewsfortherestofus.com. Reviews for movie fans by movie fans.